I have got some mystery boxes with random art supplies. I don't know what's inside, but I need to create art with whatever's in one or both of these boxes. So I guess let's go. Hey people, it's Temi if you're new here. I did a video like this last year and you guys loved it. I've got two upgrade boxes. This is box 22 and 26. Starting with box 22. I don't know why they make this, God, so difficult. Unbox your creativity. Okay. Ooh, okay, so. Oils. Oh my gosh. So we have the primary colors. We have cadmium yellow, ultramarine blue, and Madder Deep. Oh, we also have a titanium white. Ooh, I don't know what this is. I don't know what that is. We have 3 brushes. Ooh, and a metal mixing palette. I love that. So we also have this booklet that tells you all about the Van Gogh oil color, which is cute. And those are the 3 colors that they provided, which I don't know what you want me to do with it. Am I the only one that can't paint? But I love watching painting videos, and I've seen people mix. Like Slew would be like, oh yeah, he's using, what do they call that palette? This something palette. He's using one palette shade. Basically, it's like a few colors, and then he'll mix all of these beautiful. I don't think it can be me. The brush is nettle fabric, a hair. The medium weight quality is particularly absorbent to soak up oil paints for corrections. That's so good that they actually provided that. Oh, snap. Oh, okay, this is from a previous brush. This is what I like about Upgrade. They've got all of these challenges, so you can look at other people's art. You can post your own. Okay, so you mean to tell me if I watch that tutorial, I'll also be able to create art like this? Yeah, I don't know about that. Oh, and this is the artist for this box. That's amazing. Okay, and this is the gesso board. So that was box 22, which is oil paints. And now moving on to box 26. Ooh, what is this? This is feeling a little bit too painterly for me this time around. Like, where are the pencils? This is a nice big brush. Can you see that? Oh, why can I see a tube of paint? Huh? Liquid pencil rewettable. Pardon? Pardon? I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm scared. I'm scared. What am I opening? On your mark, set, draw. I'm not even on the start line. Again, liquid pencil rewettable. So this is blue and yellow, and this was grey. Okay. Oh, what is this? Wait. Aqua color. This is giving me the vibe of wettable. I'm seeing a lot of wettable. Wax crayons, water soluble artist crayons. Does this not sound absolutely wild? Why? Why would crayons need to be water soluble? Oh, we're missing a color. Why are we missing a color? Guys, I'm legit missing a color. Like, there's nothing inside. So I wonder what that last color was, but I hate to see her go, but I love to watch her leave. Ooh, I've got a sketchbook. No, legit, there's nothing in here. Guys, I'm missing a color. But we've got a second paintbrush in here. And then we've got this cotton sketchbook. Okay, that's it's a concertina. It's a concertina! Okay, that's so exciting. I mean, it's also nerve-wracking, but when I was doing my A-levels, we had a concertina sketchbook that we had to fill out and this and that. I don't think I'll be able to do all of that today. Okay, so this is what a concertina sketchbook is like. It opens to like ad infinitum. Close that up. It's definitely exciting to see what kind of work you can produce. And on water-soluble paper, it's giving nerves. All my friends are dead, okay? So this is the artwork of this Upgrade box. Oh, okay. And this is the style of art. The Barbara from Argentina. This is what she creates. Okay, and here's the book. You know what? I love that they have a little booklet with instruction. In fact, maybe I should be reading it. Liquid pencil. I don't like the sound of that. I really don't. This entire box scares me. Now that I'm boxed, I can positively say I am terrified. But I'm still going to try to create art using supplies from one of these boxes. But before I do, you'll notice these are 2 very different boxes. Upgrade are amazing. They provide these small art boxes. And I think art boxes are great anyway, because if you want to try a new supply, like these wettable crayons, wettable pencil, I saying the wrong? Wettable crayons. Then you can try it in a small box like this, and if you really love it, you can buy some more, and maybe that will be my testimony at the end of the video. Probably not. And Upcrate kindly sent me these boxes, and they were nice enough to give me a discount code, which is Temi15 on a new subscription. So feel free to do so if you want, or if you want to grab one of these boxes, you can buy them as a one-off on the website as well. So I'm gonna try the oils. It's gonna be nerve-wracking, but let's go.
3 weeks later.
It has been a few weeks and I'm finally ready to try to tackle the oil painting. This booklet has quite a bit of information. One thing I'm a bit confused about from the tutorials I've been watching is I don't know why they didn't provide burnt umber, and it's this shade here and it's meant to be so good. Apparently you can mix it, but it's so long. Also, I don't know why they didn't provide a medium. A medium is what you can basically mix your oil paints with and also rinse the brush. I've heard you can just wipe the brush on something like this, which is fine, but how can you liquefy the paint for something like an underpainting layer? So I bought this one. This is Artist Mineral White Spirit. This tiny bottle was like nearly £10 or even more. It's ridiculous. Don't know if you can quite see how small this bottle is, but it's smaller than my hand. I'm going to practice some color mixing. I'm going all the way back to basics by trying to paint my own color wheel. If you're familiar with my channel, you know that my primary medium is coloring pencils, and with color pencils you're just picking whatever color, and of course you're layering to create different effects, but I will never have to mix a color. So this whole thing is very nerve-wracking. Even just holding this palette knife, you can see how I'm holding it like a pencil, which does not make sense. I've put down the red, yellow and blue, and now to start mixing the secondary colors. I find that I always default to holding the spatula like this, but this is so difficult to mix with, but it's a lot easier to mix like this, but it's not my default at all. I'm aware that depending on which red or which blue you have, when it's mixed with one of the other colors, it could form more of a muddy color versus a vibrant color. But I guess I just have to work with what I have. This is very evident when you see the purple that I mix. And generally, except you're using magenta and cyan, the purple in these sets will always come out muddy. So what I'm going to do next is, into this board that's already been gessoed, thank y'all, I'm going to do an underpainting. I know I want to do a portrait later, so I think this will be a good time to try mixing some browns. Brown is formed by mixing the red, yellow and blue, and depending on how much of which colour you add, depends on the shade of the brown. But I've just settled on this copper kind of shade, and I'm going to use this to tone the canvas. From my findings, you want to work in thin layers with oils, so I think it's the lean to fat technique. So because of that, I'm going to add the white spirit just to thin down this paint so that I can get a very translucent covering. So the reason I'm putting it in here is because the smell of the white spirit is so strong. I've opened my doors and my windows and it's so strong. So this is just so I can breathe when I come in the morning.
The next morning.
Now I'm ready to tackle a painting. So I've decided to do a self-portrait today for a few different reasons, and I'll let you know why I picked this picture as well. But you guys that are familiar with my channel, you know I love challenging myself with the art subjects and the art mediums that I choose. And so using oils is already going to be a challenge in itself. But why not draw myself? And if it comes out dead, at least I'm not ruining somebody else's face, eh? I've already done the sketch and I'm quickly transferring it. And now I'm going to paint the underpainting. I was a little bit stuck on whether I should do an underpainting or not, and actually I was posting a lot of this oil painting process on Instagram, so make sure you follow me on there if you want to see some more behind the scenes work. But I was a little bit stuck on whether I should do an underpainting or not, but after watching quite a few tutorials, it seems to be a nice step that actually helps ease the process later. By the way, I'm not completely new to oils, so I used oils back when I was at school, A-levels, age 16 to 18, and I did do portraits back then. But back then, I never even knew of an underpainting. I wasn't taught to do an underpainting, I had no clue what it was, and so I would just paint it directly on white canvases. But even with my drawing experience now, I know that it's a lot easier to draw on a surface that's tanned or a different colour. But I found this underpainting step to be a little bit tedious. It's kind of like just doing a black and white portrait, right? But instead of adding white to the brown that I've got, I'm adding some of the white spirit to thin it out, and that's what's, helping me get the values. I had to fill in the hair straight away to get the darkest values so that then I could get the face in context. I then went in with cotton bud to bring the sharpest whites back out, and I think it worked quite well. Although I'm technically not new to oil painting, I'm definitely new to this kind of technique. Also, oh my gosh, for you oil painters out there, the smell. So I also watched loads of videos about oil painting safety. And back in the day when I was using oil paints, all we knew was be in a well-ventilated room. And I really tried, but winter is really wintering, so I couldn't leave the windows open for hours on end. But I don't think it's so much of the oil paints, the smell, it's more the white spirit that's really strong. And in a lot of the videos, they said you don't have to pour a glass full of white spirit like you would have a glass full of water if you're using acrylics or gouache. So I just have the amount that I put in my palette. I left the underpainting to dry for a couple of days, and now it's time to tackle the actual piece. I've got this glass palette. I don't think it's actual glass, it's probably like acrylic. But anyway, it's a see-through palette. And again, thanks to your advice on Instagram. Thanks once again to everyone that interacted with me in the DMs. A lot of people were saying this is much nicer to use. And also from videos I watched, you don't want just plain white under. So I've just put this piece of cards underneath. And now to practice mixing colors. So this is probably where the biggest hurdle came for me. And that's because, like I mentioned, with color pencil drawings, I never need to mix anything. And now I'm trying to mix different variations of brown that will cover enough skin tones. And even using this palette knife, an issue. And honestly, this entire process for me was just trial and error. If I think it's too warm, I'll try adding something else. If I think it's too cool, I'll mix another color. I think the challenge of just having the 3 colors definitely made this process more difficult than it would be, but I'm glad to be able to take it on. By the way, I'll link some of the most helpful channels and videos that I found for me trying to get my head around oil painting. So if you're also new to it, or if you're just curious as to which channels helped me, then you can definitely see those down in my description box. And now I'm trying to mix the dark burnt umber that I spoke about at the beginning of the video that they did not provide. I know to get to the darkest brown, we just need to keep mixing all the colors. So I just kept changing up the tone, just changing it up, because theoretically I can mix black, but I don't actually need black in this drawing, but I definitely need a deep brown, and I'm so happy with what I was able to achieve. As you can see, my palette is so messy, and I personally don't like that, but I really struggle to use the palette knife to really scrape. Like, they make it look so easy in the videos, but I found it virtually impossible. And now I'm finally ready, and here are the 3 brushes that were provided in the mystery box. So these are the only brushes that I'll be using. I have no technique here, just vibes, and I started in the middle of the face, but now I'm really regretting choosing this brown for the underpainting, because it's really difficult for me to differentiate what should be the brown of the skin versus just the background. Like, the whole thing is just looking very off. So I'm filling in the hair with this dark brown, and that will hopefully help me get my values together. So while I'm painting this piece, this will be a good time to talk about why I chose this reference picture. I was recently selected as one of the recipients for the YouTube Black Creator Class of 2022. And although this theoretically is a good achievement, I actually felt very sad about the achievement, especially around the announcement time. Honestly, I don't know if I can explain why. I don't think I've properly processed it. But because of that, I chose to do this painting as an exact rebuttal so that I can use this to remember this moment in time as a truly joyful, positive moment. So I chose a picture of me smiling with teeth and all. And if you do any drawing, any painting, you know how difficult it is to paint teeth. There's some things that most artists just like to avoid, like teeth, hands. Ain't nobody got that time. but I really wanted something that really showed my joy, and hopefully I'll be able to capture it in this piece. At this point, we're very much at the ugly phase, and if you watch my videos, you know the ugly phase is not here to stay. We will overcome as long as we can persevere, because this is not looking great. One thing I struggled with, and again, if you're familiar with my channel, you know that I always speak about where are the purples, where are the greens? And I really struggled with this because having this pre-mixed set of colors that, yes, I mixed it from all of the blues and the reds and the yellows. Having this pre-mixed set meant it just felt like I was using a few brown pencils to create this piece. So I was really missing out on some of those additional colors that I like to add with my actual piece. And so you see that I started mixing random off shades of each color, so adding a bit more red where I wanted to see a bit more red in the painting. This was such a struggle for me to get my head around, because with coloring pencils I would just pick up the red pencil, and I realized that I think I struggled with this so much because back when I used oils 8 to 10 years ago, I had never tried coloring pencils before, so oils was my introduction to color. But now that I have a full understanding of layering and mixing colors, and I do it at a very proficient level with coloring pencils, it's so difficult for me to almost go backwards with navigating color. And it's not saying oils is less than coloring pencils, it's just a completely different way of using color, which I think I'll need to continue to practice to get my head around. So this isn't going to work anymore because I need every edge of this and it's gonna stay wet, so I can't even use it elsewhere. So I've got some blue tack and I'm just gonna use this to stick the back on. For YouTube, so that the video is not too long, I've had to speed up and cut out most of it. I'm thinking of launching a Patreon with the slower version of this painting process. Let me know down in the comments if it's something that you'd be interested in. After the gloss is added, it's really starting to come together, and it's usually something I leave till the last minute, but with this oil painting, I've been going back and forth for every section and just filling in the blazer. I think that again helps to finalize putting this into context. Let me know if you want to see more oil painting videos, and I think I'm going to have to try the next one without an underpainting, because it felt like this underpainting stressed me out more than it helped me. The good thing about oils is the slow dry time, and some people say it's a blessing, some people think it's a curse. I definitely felt both sides of the coin with this piece, because I did this piece over a week, maybe just over a week. And sometimes after leaving a few days between the painting time, it would feel like, oh my gosh, all of the skin is already dry. Now I need to add more layers onto what feels like dry paint, even if I know it's not completely dry. But it's dry enough for me not to be able to easily come back into blend. And then some other times, especially with the eyes, and when I put this big dollop of white paint, to put the black on the inside of the eye so that it was like a circular ring light was a headache. And I think next time I will not be confined to using just the 3 brushes that came in the set. So hopefully I'll have a small enough paintbrush so I wouldn't have to fight with a paint like this. And now for the finishing touches. There are some bits I'm truly not happy with, like the eyelashes. I feel like it just looks like way too much, and I think that's because I didn't have a thin enough brush for the thin enough lashes that I wanted to draw. But overall, I'm really happy with this piece. I think it really captures the joy of the moment as I wanted to capture it, and I'm really grateful for this box as well, because I don't think I would have just randomly bought oil paints to try an oil painting. So I'm definitely happy I got to try this again. Now I'm going to leave it for a few days to dry before I glaze it. If you want to grab an upgrade subscription, don't forget to use Temi 15, and I'm sure you'll love this video next.